Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's live stream AMA. Yeah, we've got some stuff we're going to run through, some recaps, whatever. It is so hot where I am today. So if you see me like this, just mind your business, okay? I'm just trying to survive out here, okay? Not everyone has AC. I was actually really excited for today's AMA because Luke was running late. And I thought, oh, we're going to have some time to talk trash before he gets here. But he's on time. So let's bring him up. But throw all of your questions in the live chat. And I just have a heat wave. Yeah, it's so hot, guys. It's so hot. Anyways, what's up, Luke? How are you?
I'm in New York. I was here for permissionless. I spoke on a Web3 gaming panel. Yeah, no, it's hotter than where I'm at in Florida recently, which is kind of nuts.
Actually, I saw New York was going to hit like 100, which was 30, high 30s.
Yeah, no, 40.
I don't know Fahrenheit.
Yeah, I think it's like 40.
Oh, Andy's going to find you.
Yeah, it's funny. I was about to stream from a park, but I'm like, I don't think I would get stream sniped, but maybe I would here. But
where's your cat?
So today the stuff I want to go over today is I want to kind of give a high level on some of the tokenomics stuff we've been talking about, because I think there were some questions over some tweets that I made, and I want to explain it a little bit. I want to go over what we're doing with pixels and like some of the direction that we're thinking about right now, so we have more clarity on like next steps, next updates, chapter 3, all of that. And yeah, we'll answer some questions too and dive into that. I'm sure there will be a bunch of stuff that goes around.
Yeah. Okay. I have a few things to run through. So starting off with Shoreline. Shoreline was so fun. I had a blast. Let me know how you guys thought about it this year. Obviously, every year it changes a little bit. So let me know how you guys liked it. Seems like everyone was super happy with it. I know we shared this on, okay, now it's windy and papers are flying everywhere. That's just how it goes, right? Let me share my screen here. We can run through some of the stats. We're so good. And also the winners of the pets. Oh my gosh. Okay. Before we dive into the winners down there. 3.4 million Shoreline seeds were purchased, which is so much fun. Over 7,000 stars. 100,000 Shorelines were crafted. Every hour, there were at least 1,500 players farming Shorelines together, which is really cool, especially in this market. Like, let's be honest here. That's incredible numbers. And yeah, we had over a dozen content creators live streaming, which was also amazing. So shout out to all the content creators and everyone that participated. It was really fun event. I think it's such like a wholesome, unique event that only happens once a year, which makes it so special. So yeah, shout out to everyone that participated. And of course, our Shoreline pet winners. So exciting. Like, I recognize the names in there. It's so fun too. I know I was like teasing Kieran. I don't know if they realized that, but I knew like hours before I was able to post who actually won. So I just started messaging them being like, hi, how's it going? Anyways, just sus behavior. But yeah, reminder, this is what the Shoreline pets look like. They're so funny. I remember when I was when I asked our artist, I was like, hey, can we have Shoreline pets? And she was like, yeah, for sure. What do you think? And I was like, Shoreline legs. She delivered. So we love that. And then we have an announcement to make, of course. We also had a really, really fun giveaway. So months ago, Pixel Cat Guy, who I'm sure everyone here knows, such an incredible person within our community. Oh, am I not sharing my screen this whole time? That's good. Love that for me. Well, anyways, the rest doesn't matter that much. Yeah, I wasn't showing. Good. Okay. Anyways, I'm just going to continue. Months ago, Pixel Cat Guy reached out to me and said, hey, I'm launching a new chibi collection, or I'm creating it right now. Is there anything special you want? And I said, can you make a Shoreline chibi avatar? And man, did he ever deliver. Look at this. I'm so obsessed with it. I was so tempted to just keep it for myself. I'm not going to lie. I was actually pretty annoyed that I couldn't enter the contest because look at that. Anyways, we promised that we would say who won on this this live stream. So what you had to do to enter is create art of any kind, just not AI, and comment it on a tweet. We had a bunch of people enter, a lot of amazing art. Loved seeing it all. The team voted on who they thought was best. And wait, did I lose the tweet? I lost the tweet. Oh no, give me a second. Oh my gosh, I had it all set up and then I clicked on something. Okay, give me a second here. Give me a second. And this one was voted as the top liked voted by the team. So shout out to Ramen. We love it. It's so cute, so fun. So we will message you about from the official Pixels count, although I already know who you are. So like, I love it when people that like we know well from the community win things too. So it's just so exciting because Shoreline Chibi is the king of all shrooms. Truly. Yeah, it's going to be amazing and love this art. So congrats to Ramen. Oh yeah, there you go. They're in chat. Love to see it. Okay. And then I think I had one other thing to update you guys on. It's so hot that like my brain isn't functioning properly. So I had to, I've got to like write lists. Okay. This is really fun too. So speaking of art, we have so many incredible artists in our community, and everyone here knows UGC is such a big thing in pixels, in decorating and all of that. And we were brainstorming some ideas for upcoming events and thought we really need a UGC showcase fair event. And so what we're planning is, this was posted in the Pixels post on Monday, so you guys might already know about it. But basically, the football field is going to turn into a UGC showcase fair for a week in the next month or so. And there's going to be little booths to highlight all of the different UGC artists. So, I'm sorry, I eat chocolate with mushrooms. I don't like mushrooms, so I don't know what you mean. But yeah, so if you are a UGC artist and you have 3 or more approved UGCs in game, you should definitely apply. We do have limited space, so not everyone, depends on how many applicants we get, but not everyone might be approved. But I still highly, highly recommend you go to the Pixels post. Let me pull it up here because I know we posted it on Monday. Here we go. The form is right here. So we're hosting UGC Fair. It'll be on the football field. We have over 1,300 UGCs in game, which is incredible and wild. And also we pulled the stats too, because I was thinking I'm not sharing my screen again. Guys, today's not the day. Okay, there we go. we're struggling. Okay. There you go. We have over 1,300 UGCs in game. We pulled stats because I was curious, like how many UGC artists had how many, and the numbers that we have for, I'm going to actually, I'll go grab the numbers and I'll tell you later in the AMA, but people have submitted so many UGCs. Like I really thought it would be like one person submitted one. Does that make sense? But it's like most people have 3 or 4. So anyways, go and submit. And okay, ADHD Heidi. Yeah, guys, I also have been chugging iced lattes all day, so it's just chaos. Anyways, I will go pull those numbers and I'll pass it over to Luke.
Awesome. Okay, so
take a deep breath.
Yeah,
no,
that was a little chaotic, but that was fun.
I actually can't exist today. It's like I can't.
Yeah, so I guess here's what I want to go through. Like I wanted to go through the high level of pixels. We have a bit more clarity on what we're doing next. So we got some task board changes out last week, right? And I'm glad we finally got them out. But now what we need to do is we need to tweak it a lot more, right? And if you guys have been following the project for a long time, you'll know that honestly, historically, been really good at getting updates out very quickly. The way that Pixels got to where it was, I like to say, was pure brute force. it wasn't because we knew what we were doing. It was because we really cared and we like gave a crap. And yeah, I think one of the things I'm not so happy about with where we're at right now is I think we have a lot more experience on the team, which is good, but we're kind of getting locked in some aspects when it comes to like decision making. And I think what we're going to start to do is we're going to start to bring in some more people who, like, honestly, you guys in the community even know, to have more ownership over some of the fast decision making process on things like the task board and things like the core game loops. And yeah, hopefully that'll make things move a lot faster. Like basically the idea is, we have like a lot of young, hungry talent at Pixels. We're going to give them more opportunities to stand up or to step up, and take some more ownership over things like this. And end result ideally is things move quicker, updates come out quicker too, and yeah, we can kind of move on the things we want to with chapter 3 as well. So chapter 3, we're getting that kind of specced out, and yeah, the idea is basically to kind of first focus on completing core game loop before we focus on anything with monetization or anything regarding spend inside of Pixels. We have focused a little too much on monetization in core Pixels, I think, to the sacrifice of the gameplay. And I think that's kind of been a strategic or a tactical mistake. So the next stage of what we're going to be doing is basically like really making sure that we're like listening to you guys on feedback of what the game should look like, bringing in more voices that are much more closer to the community when it comes to what features we should be building out next, and having some of our like younger like hungrier people take some more ownership over some of these decisions too. So expect some things to move a bit faster. We're changing some things with how we work on core game moving forward, and I'm really excited for this next era. So that's kind of the update on core game, what we're thinking about with that. We'll give some more details on what exactly chapter 3 looks like. But honestly, I want to talk about the lesson. I want to show you guys and prove to you guys that things are going to be like moving quicker too. So do expect some changes to the task board soon. And if we're operating well, what you're going to start to see is you're going to start to see more content come out quicker. You're going to start to see the tweaks that we need to come out with task board come quicker. If we're achieving our goals, we'll start to also see like more community feedback when it comes to some of these updates taken care of a little bit more too. And yeah, that's kind of the next stage. So yeah, our KPI with core Pixels is shifting a little bit from being like profit driven in the short to medium term. It's focusing more on like making sure the game is going in a good, healthy direction that we're building with you guys. And then, if we're doing well there, then like that'll come next. So when it comes to token and ecosystem, we can kind of talk about what's going on there. A couple questions here. What games are joining the Pixels ecosystem? Not going to lie, the Pixels ecosystem is exciting right now, even if the core game needs a lot of work. No, I agree. Oh, and then I'll just address this comment really quickly too. Chapter 3 soon, 2030, and they're still working on fixing the task board. No. So the idea is basically there's a couple different directions that we could have gone with chapter 3. The one that we're going to go down is less new tech, and it's more working with the current engine that we have. Our engine is crazy powerful. We haven't taken advantage of it in the way that we could or should, right? We've been building like a lot of new systems sometimes, and really like the stuff that we have like is probably good enough to like build on top of. And yeah, some people that are like pretty close to how this stuff works, they know what we can do and we can't do. If we do chapter 3 in the right way, it shouldn't take so long. It's more about making sure it's the right thing to do than it is about building it quickly. And if we have the right thing to do, we'll build it quickly. I have some confidence in that. But yeah, so ecosystem, let's get back to that. So what to expect of the Pixel staking ecosystem? One, we do have more Web3 games joining the Pixel ecosystem soon. We'll announce one of them soon. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about this next one. Honestly, when I first found out about them, I was like, but I think they'll be a really good partner. A lot of you guys might even play it right now. So they'll be a good addition. They'll be a good add-on into the ecosystem. And yeah, that announcement will hopefully come maybe this week.
2 to 4 weeks. I said 2 to 4 weeks.
I don't think it'll be that long. But yeah,
Tweet
it
me there,
should.
but don't say a date.
Yeah, it should be soon. Um, but then we're thinking about some other stuff in the staking ecosystem too. So here's the state of the staking ecosystem and how we're viewing it. So I'm so bullish on the staking ecosystem model. Here's one of the things that we need to be aware of, and one of the issues that we might run into. For our system to work, the games that we work with need to be ready to generate revenue, right? It's very important for this to make it actually possible and work in the long run. But here's the issue. How many games in Web3 generate revenue? There's not that many. We're kind of tapping out already. And one of the things that we need to be thinking about is how we can also make the system work for Web 2, right? And I'm thinking a lot about that in general. We have a new game that will be coming pretty soon, the Pets game, right? And a lot of the focus with that game is going to be onboarding a Web 2 audience into the parts of crypto that makes sense for them to join, and then still having some crypto layers too. The way that I've been thinking about games lately is I don't like the idea of calling games Web3 games anymore or crypto games. And this might be controversial. Some of you guys might not like this when I say this, but I like to think about them more as like games with crypto or games with Web3, right? And I think that's going to be some of our strategy moving forward. Honestly, a lot of you came into Pixels not knowing a lot about Web3. Like it was your first time playing a Web3 game or setting up a wallet or other things like that, right? And you guys were willing to jump through some of the hoops, but you couldn't convince your friends to do it all the time, right? Like you were trying to convince a friend to download MetaMask or like download Ronin Wallet. It was too complicated. They didn't know what to do with their seed phrase. We're starting to question why we ever need people to do that in the first place. There actually are a lot of people that don't want to do that side of things. They just want to play a game. And then
The difference between us. It's fine.
yeah, they don't want to play. They just want to play a game, right? And they would be more than happy to, use their credit card to play inside of the game, right? And then maybe if you're playing for a long time, some of the crypto parts of the game seem more interesting to them. But honestly, I think my thesis now is that there can be a class of users that are just engaging in the Web 2 side of things. They can still be connected to the Web 3 economy. And you can have a Web3 element of the game for the people who enjoy the Web3 element of the game. When I say the Web3 element of the game, I mean like trading, like speculating on like in-game items, some of the earn aspects, right? But when we think about sustainability for the token and the ecosystem, I honestly think you kind of need some of those normal Web2 players to subsidize some of the earn or some of the other things too, or to even set the foundation of the game economy, right? We talk about net spend a lot in Pixels. And here's some things we got right on the high level. Here are some things that we didn't get right. One of the issues that we've had inside of Pixels is we talk about this metric called return on reward spend quite often, right? Return on reward spend is this metric that we kind of coined. And what it is a measurement of how many rewards that we give out every single month compared to the amount of in-game spend, right? And truthfully, what you need for a sustainable game is you need the return on reward spend to be positive. That means you need more spend inside of the game than rewards that you give out, right? That means some players will have to spend more money than they earn. And not everybody inside of the Pixels game right now really wants that, right? Now, where do those users come from that are going to be spending more? There are a lot of players inside of Pixels that do spend more than they earn inside of the game, right? But there's also this issue where sometimes if we build out game mechanics and we don't do it right, you guys get angry if you spend more than you earn, right? So this is the interesting part about building a Web3 game or a game with real money, right? It's that kind of balance. And, we have some discussions internally about like, okay, what are the right mechanics to make it feel less bad? That's why risk to earn or PvP is interesting, because you have a better understanding of like what you're getting into when you start to make decisions on if you're going to earn or spend more. You have to like calculate the risk on your own end. And if it's against another player versus against the game, it feels a little bit different too, right? If you go and risk to earn in a PvP setting against another player, you're going to blame the other player if you end up losing, right? And the risk doesn't work out. If you do it against us, you get mad, right? And that's a natural feeling, right? So that's one thing that we want to lean into. um, but
Web3 is just blockchain technology.
yeah, so well, no, this is actually a really good point and a good question because a lot of people don't care about Web3, and that's fine. So what does Web3 actually do for the game? What are the things of Web3 that weren't possible in a normal Web2 game or a free-to-play game? So there's a couple of things there that are new unlocks in Web3 games and specific to Web3 games. And this is kind of what I'm talking about when I talk about long-term thesis. So one of them is like open economy and open trading. That's something that is, it's not exclusive to Web3 gaming, but it is a core part of Web3 and a lot easier with Web3. So things like, well, it's funny because the in-game marketplace is a good example of how we've done it in Web2, even though it still follows some Web3 ethos, right? But item trading in-game items for real money, earning, um, there's some other primitives on top of it. Like the guilds is a really good example of like a Web3 primitive, right? And a lot of this stuff is made possible in Pixels because of the token that we have, right? So you can have a Web2 part of it, and the token makes it more Web3 because of all the secondary effects. And that's what we're kind of thinking about with the Web2 game, where it's like, okay, are there layers of Web3 that we can add where the normal player can go and just interact with the Web2 side of things? But because there's that Web3 part in the back end or the end game, all the other Web2 stuff becomes a little bit more fun because of this. We can actually build out some revenue sources in USDC or fiat, right? And then that could be some of the long-term, source of yield for staking. And that's how this is all kind of related, and like why the Web2 thing or like the audience part relates to what we're thinking about long-term with the staking ecosystem. That's why I went into that little tangent. So basically the idea is, we want to start expanding into new audiences. We want to open up monetization opportunities for other audiences too. Making somebody go and buy a pixel token is a lot of friction, and it's actually probably not. It's probably just a straight up loss of revenue in some instances, right? If somebody would really easily be able to spend $1 inside of the game using Apple Pay, but would not spend if they had to like go figure out how to get to Binance, buy a pixel token, put it into the game, spend it in the game, that's just like net loss of revenue for the ecosystem. And that's not so good, right? That's like value capture we could be sending back to stakers or anywhere else, right? That's just kind of getting thrown into the abyss. Somebody that came and tried the game and we didn't like effectively monetize. So why not open some of the monetization to USDC or fiat, right? And then when we start to do that, some things get interesting. Long term, what we can start to do is for staking rewards, instead of giving out the pixel token, if we're making USDC revenue or fiat revenue, that actually might be the currency that the ecosystem decides to start giving out as rewards to stakers, right? If we could replace giving out the pixel token and give out USDC instead, there's still yield for pixel tokens getting staked, right? But the difference now is you're not adding that extra sell pressure on the pixel token from the yield, right? Because right now, if we give out pixel rewards for staking pixel, you might sell the pixel token, and it's still probably locking out more net pixel tokens in general, but it's still kind of circular, right? If we can remove that sell pressure altogether, then we start to get into situations long term with the tokenomics that get really interesting, where we have more and more ways to lock the pixel token up forever. And now, if you ask me what the goal is with the token, um, my goal basically is just to give you guys reasons to lock the token, whether it be in staking or whether it be in vPixel. So vPixel is the other thing that we'll be releasing, which is pretty interesting too. And we'll experiment with the rollout. We'll probably do a more gradual rollout with vPixel by just introducing it into core pixels first and seeing where else we can, kind of introduce it. But vPixel is interesting. If you haven't been following vPixel, vPixel is a new token that we'll be releasing. It's an app token. It's backed 1-to-1 with Real Pixel. So you'll be able to still use vPixel anywhere that you could use normal pixel. Like if you want to spend it or if you want to stake it, you can still do that with a vPixel. And because it's backed 1-to-1, these two tokens are fungible when it comes to spend or staking. So Maybe we should change it to Pixel. It's
Vixel.
not set in stone yet, but we're gonna call it vPixel for now. But yeah, you'll be able to spend it or stake it. But the thing with vPixel is you will not be able to sell it or trade it to another user or OTC it or send it to an exchange. So you can't sell the token basically. You can't trade the token. You can't sell it. You can only spend or stake it. Now, what's interesting is basically every single time that we give out a vPixel token, we lock a normal pixel. So the more vPixel that's circulating, the more pixel is locked, right? So we can switch some of the reward currency to games like in pixels to vPixel instead. That means more pixel is getting locked. Less pixel is going to an exchange to get sold. And, we're locking more and more pixel every month. So, I think about two things with the token in the long term. This is a great question. This is TBD, but maybe. Can we buy vPixel directly with Apple Pay or Google Pay? So I'm not going to give you guys a legal lecture. I'm not going to dive too into this, but I think there's a very strong argument that you should be able to sell app tokens directly with Apple Pay or Google Pay. Now, the reason why you wouldn't be able to do that with a normal cryptocurrency is 100% you're a money transmitter. If you are selling a cryptocurrency that can be sold on an exchange for US dollars, right? So you have to go through a lot of regulation to be able to sell. If we want to sell Pixel directly, right? We would effectively be acting like an exchange, and we would probably be regulated like an exchange, right? So selling normal Pixel directly, legal headache. You can't. Most games, the apps will never be able to do that for so many reasons. But vPixel, because it can't be sold, because you can't trade it with other users, you have a much stronger argument that you should be able to sell it directly. So that's something else that's very interesting with that token too. And remember, it's backed one-to-one with normal pixel too. So anytime that we create a new vPixel, we're taking a normal pixel out of circulation and just kind of locking it away. So there's some interesting things that happen if we're able to do that, right? And that's also why if we were to start to do in-app purchases, right? It actually might be beneficial for the ecosystem in that way as well. So that's generally what we're thinking. And then when we think about the Pixel ecosystem too, that's kind of the high level of what we were kind of talking about with that tweet I made the other day on, we might phase out Pixel as a reward
Do you want me to
currency.
pull it up or?
Yeah, well, maybe not. But the high level of that tweet was basically I said something along the lines of we're going to phase Pixel out as the reward currency, make Pixel stake only in the long run. This is going to take a little bit of time to get there. It'll probably be like a year until we can fully execute on this. There's a couple things that need to happen in order for us to do this fully. But we'll start to make this move as we go on. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to get vPixel out, right? That's coming very soon. It's actually on chain now if you want to go and check. But now we need to start giving it out inside of the game. So that'll be the first step. Second thing that we need to do is we need to start to increase the return on reward spend in all the games. When return on reward spend gets over 1, things get very interesting. We can actually start even giving out USDC as rewards directly in games. And, that unlocks a lot there. The other thing that we need to start to do is we need to start making USDC or fiat revenue, right? So we need games in the App Store, or we need to start adding support of these other tokens. I actually think other teams in the ecosystem might even start doing this. We'll probably amend the agreements that we have with them to also support giving out USDC rewards in addition to Pixel if they want to. We'll probably have an APR calculator that combines the Pixel and the USDC to show you an APR of the combined. But truthfully, USDC rewards would be better than Pixel ones, right? So it'll be interesting when it happens. And if you don't want your USDC reward and you want a Pixel one instead, if you get USDC, just go buy Pixel with it, right? That's the high level of where we're moving this. And then this relates to some other interesting things too, where we're looking for more games like the Pixel Dungeons type of game, because if you guys have been following the staking, let's take a look into everything right now. And APRs, all of that. Core Pixels needs to do a little bit better, but also we have a lot staked to it. Let's go and take a look at some of the stats of the games right now. So when it comes to APR and total staked, Core Pixels has 75 million pixels staked to it. It's crazy. There's also 115 million pixels staked total. That's great. This month, we've seen more pixels staked than we've given out in terms of ecosystem emissions. So that means that we're still basically locking more pixel than they're going out to exchanges month by month. Last month was our first one that we did that on. We had net deposits into the game for the first time. We also had a significant amount staked. Now we keep growing that. It's pretty bullish for the ecosystem in the short run. And yeah, we'll try to keep this up too. So soon in this panel, what you're going to start to see is you're going to start to see, you have, I don't think I can share them yet. Honestly, hopefully these charts go live in the next like couple of days. You're going to start to see other analytics here. You're going to start to see rewards per day given out. You're going to start to see spending game per day, and a few other things too, like return on reward spend, all of this. We have some like really nice fancy analytics coming. But yeah, what you can see here is you can see how APR has changed. So again, how APR is calculated in this is the more tokens that are staked to a game, the more revenue it's going to have to make in order to be able to give out a competitive APR, right? But also the more tokens that it has staked in phase 2, which should be going live in July, the more rewards it will be able to give out to the game. So basically right now how it works is Core Pixels, we give out about like 15 million pixel of rewards a month. Forgotten Runeverse gives like 2.5 to 5 million a month. Pixel Dungeons only gets 2 million pixel a month to give out in rewards right now. Sleepagachi only gets 2 million pixel a month. And look who's performing really well. It's Pixel Dungeons and Sleepagachi. Now, why are they performing well? It's because their return on reward spend is really good. They're very efficient with how they give out rewards. So, Pixel Dungeons is able to turn 2 million rewards of tokens into like, I think like the return on reward spend was close to 80%, 90% the last time, and to like 1.6 million tokens of revenue, right? And they're getting closer and closer to that 1 mark, right? Now here's my thesis here. I actually think the Pixel Dungeons style of game is more suited towards that, right? Now there's a couple of different things that we're missing in Core Pixels. Maybe it could just be that we're not as friendly to the type of person that would be participating in a farm game, right? Like maybe we're just missing out on capturing like some of that Web2 revenue. We also need to like work on core loop, all of this kind of stuff. But also the business model of Pixel Dungeons is like a bit easier to monetize when it comes to return on reward spend. Also, it's more of a rate-based model. It feels more transparent to users. There's something there. So yeah, we're going to continue to try to work with games more like Pixel Dungeons. And honestly, Pixel Dungeons, that team, I love that team. Maybe they'll even come up with a new game sometime that joins this ecosystem too. But then yeah, Sleepagachi's also been doing super well as well. I think the return on reward spend was about 50%. Their APR is high because they have more staked or not as much staked. But again, this is the meta. New games, especially if you're bullish on them, you should maybe stake them because you'll probably get more rewards early on. And there will be a new game coming soon. So keep that one in mind. Yeah, so I think that's kind of the high level of what I want to go over. If you guys have any questions, I'm sure there'll be like a couple different rabbit holes that we can go down. I hope that makes a little bit more sense to people.
Ask your questions though if you need some more clarification, or if you're just here for vibes and popcorn. I understand too. Okay.
Regarding vPixel, won't people just be able to be using it in whatever way they can to generate other things that they can sell? Yes, that definitely is possible, which is interesting. Like that could boost a lot of the metrics of certain games, right? And yeah, it's not necessarily a bad thing, right? So vPixel will change a few things when it comes to player behavior, especially if they're not able to sell it directly. Like if you get it, it's going to feel a lot less risky to spend it for that reason, right? So it also might feel really worth earning it for that reason too. The question with vPixel is if we gave it out as a reward instead, like how much different is that going to feel than getting a normal pixel, right? And vpixel can be inherently valuable because it has the same amount of power for staking, right? So that could be a reason to want more vpixel, or you can spend it too and try to earn in a different way. But yeah, I think some of the long-term value will come from the ability to be staked also. Like that might be a reason why you might want it besides just being able to spend it in the game to play the game, right? So one of the things we'll have to figure out with vpixel, and this is why we'll kind of roll it out slowly, is how much people want it compared to normal pixel, and like what the elasticity is there.
Okay, earlier in my chaotic spiel at the beginning, I mentioned UGC stats. So I know I posted in chat, but I thought I'd pull them up. This is so wild to me. So 169, these are users, okay? Users have more than 2 approved. 142 have more than 3. Over 100 users have more than 4 UGCs approved, and 86 have more than 5 approved. That's wild. We have some amazing artists in our community. So shout out to all of our UGC creators, and make sure you guys are applying for a spot at the fair. I'm very excited for it. Okay, other questions?
Okay, yeah, there are a few. Few tokenomics ones. So phase 2 of the staking, how is it going to work? So right now, if you guys follow tokenomics, the same tokenomics that are on Binance, that were announced from the very beginning, there's a 28 million pixel budget for ecosystem rewards every single month, right? Now, that ecosystem rewards budget was completely reserved for, just core pixels for the longest time. Then we started doing some of these grants. So we started giving out some of the pixel to like pixel dungeons, right? But now what we're going to start to do is we're going to put it more in your guys' hands on where the pixel goes. So when you stake, you're actually voting on what, like really the reason to stake is you're voting on what game should be getting the pixel from that 28 million pixel budget, right? So the more a game has pixels staked, the more of that budget it will get every single month. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to do daily distributions of like the rewards that the game should be getting, right? So that 28 million will actually be split up by like 30 every single day. So every single day, there would be a snapshot of each game's amount staked. And we'll split up that, 28 million divided by 30 pool between the games. Now, we're going to protect core pixels in the first stages. So core pixels will automatically get 50% of that 28 million tokens in the beginning stages. So that, even if pixels had 0 staked, it would still get 14 million pixels. But we'll slowly ramp that down over time and make pixels fully compete with the other games.
Okay. Oh, okay. Someone complaining about the task board. So I'm not sure if you've played the task board today, but we've actually been pushing updates like almost every day recently. And one late last night went out UTC time. So play again today because sentiment around task board is actually pretty high today. I think some tweaks that went out yesterday are very favorable to high level players. So go check it out again. Okay.
Okay, I'm seeing some good questions. We need some new quest missions, guild gameplay, and sort of competition gameplay. 100%. That's basically what we're thinking with Chapter 3. But we'll still have new quest and missions come along the way too. Maybe Heidi has some updates on some of what's going on with quest and missions.
But I will say, we already talked about this in chat in Discord. Okay, come on, we already discussed this together. Don't forget our conversation. I haven't.
Yeah.
And I told you a lot of what you're asking for is actively in the works. So stay tuned.
Yeah. So for Chapter 3, that's kind of a team's priority with the current game. Before we focus more on monetization or like profitability in core pixels, I think we owe it to you guys basically to like complete the core game loop. Like that is priority number 1. And yeah, there's been like debate going back and forth on like what we're doing there. And now we have some more clarity. I don't want to share all of the details right now. Like basically we're gonna do all the tech road mapping and like actual like this is 100% what we're doing, road mapping and like the next week or so. But we've already done a lot of the pre-production elements there, and we've like gone back and forth a ton on different decisions that are getting made there. So yeah, think about that. Are there any plans yet for reworking guilds, farmlands, and specs? Funny enough, like we were gonna rework specs, but we don't think it actually makes sense to do that right now. We have like a whole spec update that we have just like sitting off to the side, but it doesn't make sense to change what specs do until we have chapter 3 out, is what we think. So when chapter 3 comes, maybe we'll just like release that feature because it's already built. But yeah, we are thinking in that regard. Maybe just to like spill some tea. I know our team likes the idea of a faction system in addition to guilds. And I think there's a way that they can work together also. But yeah, chapter 3, think competition, think of like ways that you kind of collaborate and sabotage each other. And yeah, that's kind of the idea. What about a new game and mobile game? Any details? So our Pets app that's coming out is going to be mobile first. I don't think we'll even release a web version in the beginning stages. Likely early access will be only available for Android. Full go-to-market release will be available Android and iOS. This one's built in Unity, so maybe we could go live in the browser, but it'll be a better experience. This is the kind of app that you really need notifications on for it. You need like we have like widgets that you'll be able to place in your app too. It's like a pet feeding app. If you don't have notifications on, your pet's gonna die and you won't know, and it won't be very fun. And it has like chat and stuff like that too. So you need to know if like somebody chats you.
Okay.
What else?
Yeah. A lot of people seeing Taskboard looking better today. Good. Wait, I'm confused.
Taskboard seems to be in favor of the higher level players. Saw the leaderboard, and the top players earned around 400 plus pixels. So that was the intended outcome of these Taskboard updates. That is what we wanted. There was something weird and broken in the Taskboard before, where lower levels were able to earn more than higher levels. It's interesting what we saw in even when we did the updates a few days ago, and they weren't really right. What we were seeing was there was like one group of users that saw their like pixel that they saw every day go down. But before we did these tweaks in the last day or two, like you guys were mostly level. Yeah. This person asked, can we burn some pixels? So this is what I was trying to say with like the locked tokens. Burning and locked are a bit different. But like really locked and burning have like pretty similar effects. Staking, and when we come out with vPixel, it locks tokens, right? So really, what's the end goal of a token? Like we want more tokens coming off of exchanges and less tokens going into exchanges, right? So the more tokens that we lock every single month, the better and better that we're doing, right? And the ideal situation would be that we lock more tokens every month than would be going to an exchange and getting sold, right? Like that's kind of like fundamental token sustainability. Now staking is good because we have 115 million pixel locked in staking that were not locked in staking 50 days ago, right? Staking's been live for what? Like not even 2 months.
Almost 2 months, like 50. I think last it was like 46, 50, 60 days. I don't know. Something like that. Almost 2 months.
Yeah. What can you say about solving P to E? I feel like that's all we've been talking about in this AMA.
That's all
Like,
we do.
yeah, this is a part of it. Not saying high levels should not matter, but at the moment it's almost impossible to get top levels because chapter 2 is so broken with XP.
Some I do know that like forestry and mining are hard to level up, but some other ones aren't as hard to level up in. And high level it's kind of like, goes like this. So I think you can grind a bit and you should be okay.
Yeah, there are some XP curves that are still probably going to need some work. Like I think forestry,
mining, forestry, even pet care a little bit at the beginning is quite hard.
Yeah, do you know what's going on with Neon Zone?
Yeah, it just keeps getting pushed back because there's like some tweaks and refinement that the team has been working on. So I think we might still be a few weeks out for that one.
Yeah, so here's the thing that's holding Neon Zone back, and I think we talked about this a little bit in the last AMA, but we need actual prizes that you guys want inside of the game that matter, right? And this is also the same issue with merchant ships, right? If we can't give you guys compelling things to work for in these two things, then it's kind of broken. Even though Neon Zone, I think, would be fun without anything else. But that's the thing that's holding us back. We're basically working on like getting a new set of chase content. The Neon Zone stuff is basically done. But yeah, we need to get some of that chase content and the prizes for it. So that's what's taking a little bit longer there. Have the bots problem in the game been 100% resolved? I don't think anyone will ever 100% resolve.
Yeah.
So here's how botting works right now. If you guys, it's funny because Pixels caught on to these things before like a lot of the rest of the internet did, I think. More people are starting to see the effect of like, large language models on the internet. If you look on Reddit, Twitter, YouTube comments, TikTok comments, if you start to really look, you're going to start to notice that most of these comments everywhere, even on, especially on Twitter or X, they're fake. They're not real people. They're bots. And you might not even notice it at the beginning. But they're getting really good. A lot of dead internet theory is kind of real. Yeah. Where like a lot of the activity you see online is kind of fabricated. And here's why. It's actually very, very hard to detect if you just have like the normal information of a user, if they're a bot or not, right? You used to be able to kind of look and like see if there were like repeated posts, if you were trying to do bot detection on a platform like X, or like if they all talked in the same way. Like that was a lot of their bot method detection. They would like try to see if people had similar language patterns. Like in the early 2000s, like mid 2000s, what people look at is like IPs. They would look at like hardware. They would build out fingerprints. But the truth is, like, people have gotten pretty crazy. Hardware is really cheap now. It's really easy to hide your IP address. You can spin up like a new IP or like mask it super easy. And that side of detection, we still do a lot of stuff there on Pixels. Like we have silent captchas, we do like fingerprinting of your network, your hardware, all of that, but it's only so effective. Like it's a good barrier, but it's not going to stop anything 100%. Really the best way to stop a bot is attacking their economics. You have to figure out what are the bots there for and how do you make them lose? Like how do you make it so they can't earn or really achieve the objective that they want? So most of the work in bot detection has been like things like the VIP stuff or like the reputation side of things that we're doing. And that's been a lot more effective.
Okay. Ooh, we only have 7 minutes left.
I look old right now.
Exhaustion, heat.
Yeah, it's just the heat.
You were on a panel earlier. How did that go?
Yeah, no, Web3 gaming is an interesting spot. I was on the panel with, I think, head of abstract. And it's not all sunshine and roses. Not everybody's like very happy with the state of Web3 gaming right now. It's funny because we actually get a lot of roses whenever I'm on a panel like this. But if you look at the rest of the state of Web3 gaming, like there's a lot of Web3 gaming studios dying, going out of business.
If you have to defend that Web3 gaming is dead.
uh,
For those that don't know, I had to do that on a panel recently. They said, you're on the team that thinks Web3 gaming is dead. And I was like,
that's kind of silly. But I mean, there are some things that are like not right in Web3 gaming, but I don't think they're not solvable. You need runway to do that, which luckily Pixels has. Like we have, the means to keep building and solving these things. But a lot of teams ran out of funding to do it, right? Which is not so great. So luckily we've built up some trust with the industry and space where we kind of get to like go out and do some things, experiment. And yeah, we'll start running some more stuff. That's kind of what we were going in the AMA today. Like we think we need to start bringing more Web2 people in, probably monetizing more with like, really easy payment systems that aren't necessarily crypto native, and figuring out a way to still have that, tie into the crypto elements. And yeah, this is like in line with what we're thinking. Like what marketing is currently underway in other sectors like Web2, App Store, non-related app areas. So this Pets app will be our first foray into like building for a more Web2 audience, and then introducing some crypto elements to them. The initial rollout of this Pets app is going to be very, very light on the crypto. We'll introduce very small amounts of earn aspects with the quest board and the offer board that we're working on. Truthfully, what we'll probably just do is like incentivize some of you guys to download it. I want to see if we can like rank on the App Store immediately when we get it out. So that also might mean we want to rank on the App Store in different countries. The thing that we're working on with the reward side of things is working on reward targeting. So we might be able to like incentivize, Philippine App Store ranking, US App Store ranking. The other thing that we've been thinking about too with some of those rewards is like, can we incentivize like group goals, where if you like rank number one in the US App Store, everybody gets something. So that might be fun too. But yeah, we think about that stuff a lot.
That would be so fun. I love stuff like that where it's like everyone has to work together to, get the goal.
Time frame for other staking games going live in the Pixels beta. You're gonna see one soon. That's all I can say. The other thing I've been thinking a lot about too, I think we said this a little bit in the other AMA, is like, is there a Web2 game that might want to join this ecosystem? Why would a Web2 game want to join this? Because they basically get like, a prize pool that they can give out to their users. And there's a lot of Web2 games that do that with tournaments and whatever else, right? So I think there's potential there. Truthfully, I got to think a little bit more on what kind of partner would be best suited for that. We got to do like a little discovery there. But if you guys have any ideas of games that actually fit this model well, here's how you frame it. We're working with this company. They're trying to work on this concept of rewarded play. They can give out some incentives to go and do like a prize pool or a tournament or whatever else. And that's where you leave it at. So I feel like there are some good candidates there. We got to dig a little bit more into it, but that's what we're thinking too. If we could get a good Web2 partner, that would be really great.
Are we still working with YGG? We don't have anything like currently in the works with YGG, but they're one of our favorite partners to work with. They're just such incredible human beings, like Gabby, Owl, and like the rest of the team. I will back anything they do. They're such good people, and we obviously will be participating in the Play Summit in November, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, we talked about something with them at one point. They have a new game out. If you guys haven't checked it out, it's kind of like Monopoly Go.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is a great question. Why do you think simple games like Grow a Garden on Roblox blow up? The core loop is super basic, but people seem to love it. This is I don't think it's possible with Roblox, but I love Roblox as a distribution channel. I've been looking a lot and researching a lot into Roblox, and seeing if we could do something with like Pixel Token and Roblox or UEFN. basically like the Fortnite creator system. Why these two games do really well is because they have crazy distribution. So they have what, like I think 100 million monthly active users in Roblox. It might be even more, but like something insane, like 100 million monthly active. It might be 100 million daily.
That's wild.
Now I'm curious. You guys are gonna stay a little bit more on the AMA just so I can look this up. Or if anybody can look up how much DAU.
What's the DAU of Roblox,
I need
guys?
to know. Okay, average daily active users in 2024 for Roblox was 85.3 million. Yeah, it's pretty insane. So basically, they're one of the like biggest forms of distribution inside of gaming. And honestly, it's funny. I don't know why no one in Web3 has really thought about them so much. Maybe I've actually been like digging into it too much. I don't think it's actually possible to get a real money prize pool on the Roblox, but that would be really great. There might be something there though. But yeah, that's okay. This is also related to the issue of Web3 gaming though. This is actually totally in line. So one thing that I was hoping for with Web3 gaming was, we did a lot of work of onboarding new users into Web3 gaming. I was hoping there would be some other Web3 games that would come through and also increase the market size of Web3 gaming too, right? Like imagine if there were 2 or 3 Web3 games that were doing really well. I don't think it's like net zero sum, where if like another Web3 game was performing well, they would have taken away users from Pixels. I think what would have happened is we would have both gotten more users because they onboarded more people in the Web3 gaming. There's more users with wallets, and we would have all done well together. The issue is in 2024, Pixels was the only breakout Web3 game. Maybe Off the Grid, but Off the Grid didn't really onboard anybody into Web3 gaming. Also, I think they were a lot more botted than they want to admit to.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
That's a little bit of shade, but I mean, it's true. But yeah, so Web3 gaming is an interesting spot where we have to go out if we want to get more people into Web3 gaming, like expand the market ourselves again. And that's why we're talking about finding new distribution platforms, right? So we can't just rely on the current Web3 audience, because if we were just trying to attract more users, like we're just going to trade users with other Web3 games in the merry-go-round again. Like, oh, users left Pixels to go play another farm game. Oh, we want to get them back and have them play this game. It's just like a merry-go-round. It's silly. We gotta get new users.
We're not trying to like compete either. Like I think we talked about this a lot, but like Web3 gaming, the more the merrier. Like we're all in this together. So it's kind of funny when people pit us against each other.
Yeah, okay. I can't get my sister to play Web3 games. She plays Roblox all day. I know, that's why there's something there. So I mean, yeah, that's why we need to start building on other platforms and get other distribution channels. I'm only saying this Roblox stuff because I think it's interesting. We haven't actually done anything there, and it probably won't happen. But like, if we think of something that's cool, like that would be a really good example of a new distribution platform to kind of try to go and execute on. Or maybe it's like a UFDN. Yeah.
Pets app is coming. Okay, yeah. Cool. All right. Any last final thoughts?
Yeah. What I will say Off the Grid did really well at was they had a really good streaming strategy. So they spent if you guys don't know, they had like a huge budget reserved from some of the funding they raised, which I honestly think this was better spent than a lot of other Web3 games where they like went really, really hard on getting streamers to actually stream their game. And I do think that is probably how a game like them breaks into, the normal audience. But yeah, that's probably why you saw people like Shroud do that. It wasn't necessarily organic, but who cares if it's organic or not?
Okay.
Okay. Well, I think that's it for today's AMA. Yeah. Thanks everybody for joining us. I'm sorry I look old and tired like everybody.
I'm sorry. I have undiagnosed ADHD. Anyways, thanks for coming out, guys. And yeah, we'll see you in Discord and Terravilla and next week. Bye, guys.
Thanks, everyone.